Yo estoy trabajando pero si usted dice
No microphone, eh?
no microphone.
I
I don't know. I can speak loud.
Alright, can everybody hear me? There's no microphone that I can find so far, so I'm going to do my best and deliver my voice to you. Can you hear in the back? Yes? So, welcome to the Latin American Academy track. Our first presentation by Alfonso Guevara
Right.
from the Universidad de Monterrey and Lynda Carroll from SUNY Community College on the Un-COIL-able classes. Why being creative is not just for artists anymore.
Good evening, people. Have you eat lunch? Right? You have enough time because I have to run back to start this presentation. So, well, my partner Lynda Carroll, and we always start to before that, excuse me, in my English, I'm a little bit nervous, and my English is like come up like stumble upon, and I stumble with my English. So Lynda, would you mind to introduce a little bit about our presentation?
Sure. We wanted to talk today about some of the challenges, but also some of the successes of how to put together two courses which on the surface really seem like they're not going to fit. When I first started to look for a coiling partner, I wanted to coil an archaeology class. So it's a science course, and it seemed that it was very difficult to find someone willing to work with a scientist. So finally, I met Poncho, and he's an artist, and it seemed, well, how is this going to work? So we thought that would be a really interesting paper to present on what you can do in order to try to make this happen.
Well, besides of that, we are making all the things on our students' behalf. You know, we as professors, we think on what we will learn, but also in these COIL courses, we learn a lot of things of our partners. So this is the idea of it's also the idea of our presentation. So we start with this one. So our title came from my partner Lynda. So Un-COIL-able classes. Well, we have to be creative, right? So how to do two instructors for a very different field coil a class? As Lynda said, she's archaeologist and anthropologist, and I'm on the art field. But also the art field, the artists, we are very, very funny people. We like to sniff in every discipline. That medicine, what's in medicine? Oh, what's in math? And we're always sniffing all the place. But in anthropology and also archaeology, we found very good things that we're calling. So, consumer working into this, I think we already have this. I have already hit this. And can an artist and a scientist coil a class? You know, scientists.
Okay, a little bit about my course. My course is an introduction to archaeology class. It is one of those courses that fulfills a basic laboratory science requirement. So I'm getting all these students who are not scientists. They're traditionally not, they're not embracing science as much as I would hope, but 4 credits in order to fulfill their basic science requirement, which means that in addition to simply lecturing, there was a 3-hour laboratory component where students were required to do small laboratory projects. So it's really a hands-on type of course that would emphasize scientific methodology.
Well, so artists. So my class is very flexible. In this is a new media class, and we work with bands, we work with experimental, not videos, and also video poetry and live cinema. We have a lot of things, but in my class they have to develop subject matter. So they have to find a theme, or they have to find a subject matter and dig in, research. in the art field, the more you research, the more symbolic process you are making in the meantime. So you read some paper, oh, this thing connect with another thing, and start new ideas, right? Well, Lynda. So you're telling me that we could connect to different courses?
You can see it's a lot of fun to work with Alfonso.
Yeah, well, the first thing that we discovered that we have to do is dialogue. The second thing that we have discovered to do is dialogue. And the third thing that we have to do is dialogue. You know? We have to dialogue a lot. Well, oh, okay. That's the joke. Go. Picking an approach.
So what we decided to do was to pick an approach in order to find some common themes. So the idea was that if the two courses had some common themes that ran throughout, we'd be able to put them together very successfully. So...
Okay. Sorry, guys.
That's okay.
So connecting the courses, the themes
I think this, can you go back a few slides?
Yes. No problem. Oh yeah. Sorry, Lynda, you already had.
I think you have to go back a few more.
Yes, this
Very
is
good.
one.
Okay. So basically what we did was we sat down during our COIL orientation time and we listed what the common themes were that we thought would come out of our two courses. And from the artist side, we had culture and creation process, the idea of creating memes and storytelling, and also visual literacy. Those were some of the common themes. And on my side, for archaeology, the themes which I had to present would be scientific method, reconstructing the past, culture and material culture, material analysis, and heritage. And we thought, looking at those two, how could we then foil these two courses?
So, as Lynda said, we
so
will
basically the themes that
you go.
thought probably the best coiled together were heritage. Heritage seemed like a natural. Archaeologists deal with cultural heritage, but also that can be easily incorporated into a new media course. Culture and material culture, that was an obvious. But then also the idea of memes. In fact, the idea of meme comes out of the natural science, and Richard Dawkins was the first to talk about memes in biology, for example. But then we thought, really what I wanted to talk about was storytelling. And that seemed to be a great fit between the two courses.
And you know, go on, Lynda.
No, that's okay. So the idea of storytelling, you're telling stories by creating and constructing videos and creating and constructing memes. And scientists are telling stories about the past. Archaeologists are telling stories about the past, but using real evidence, using scientific evidence. So again, we're both doing the same thing, just from two very different approaches.
So, in this part of dialogue, I have to say, Lynda has not too much appealing to the meme theory, but my student doesn't know anything about Richard Dawkins. In Mexico, we doesn't know almost anything about Richard Dawkins, and we only use memes and tell the word memes and meme over there, but they doesn't know anything about it. So I found it very useful to explain how this concept evolved, you know. So we found our common themes, and so we have to choose a project oriented on discussion, or in this case also on creation. So we used Facebook to bring our students together to make dialogue and between them, you know. So we start to make memes, to share images, some kind of ice-breaking jokes. And the good thing is, it evolves in dialogue. It evolves in dialogue, you know. We have to explain that taco is not the same word in Spain than in Mexico, and you know, it's something always useful. So, Lynda, okay, go on.
So on the one hand, on the Mexican side, they're creating themes to introduce their culture. On the other side, I wanted to introduce storytelling through visual art. So what I had them do was walk around campus and take photographs and videos about what our landscape looks like, and also tie that into, if you see there's a picture all the way up on the top of this red building, that building is no longer there. Now it's been destroyed by our campus in order to make way for new housing. But the idea was, how can we connect the past and the present through looking at landscapes? And then my students then posted those things on Facebook in order to give our Mexican colleagues a little bit of an idea of what we're talking about.
So this is one of the images that the Lynda students came up with, really making a dialogue from the past and the present.
And my students were not artists necessarily.
Yes.
So any creative process that they went through, it was above and beyond. So they were getting into the spirit of coiling this course.
Yeah. After that, Lynda proposed a time capsule game. We had to choose an object to represent our culture and our moment. So my students went very up to give examples. So this rock band called Café Tacuba, it provokes a lot of, well, I don't mean Facebook right now, I'm not logging in, but a lot of talking about. So and Lynda came up with this link, the YouTube link, and they listened to it, and then they start to communicate. So this is a historical place. There's a traditional dress that also provokes more food, of course, churros.
And what was interesting, I really like the churros.
Oh yeah, no, this is important. This is
actually really interesting. In one of my classes, one of the labs I do, the first lab that they do is I give them a box full of material culture, and I tell them to try to figure out where that room in the house would be. So using material culture in order to say something about society. And for about 10 years, every time I've done this project, I've included this in my project. Now, some of you would recognize it, some of you wouldn't. But this is basically to make Mexican hot chocolate. And yeah, it just happened to be something which just happened to be in my toolbox. Then, when someone posted the churro, then we started this great debate about fried dough and shared cultural, based simply on fried dough and hot chocolate. So it was a really interesting kind of something that came up spur of the moment. We weren't expecting it, we weren't planning it, but it became something that we dialogued about.
Right. We get back to the presentation. So on my side, my students have to make vines, short videos to share on the web. So they came with these ones, and they start to dialogue between them. So this is one of the short videos that I hope to love. So this girl said, my city is like a collage, like a lot of things, like a lot of things, one on the other. So this another girl came up with the idea of Anthropocene. She's a student of architecture that, you have seen the landscape and suddenly the city. Now this time is dominated by the humanity, right? By man. And this one is very interesting. Lynda, you have something to say about it, the markets?
Oh, the marketplace, yes, definitely. I don't know. Oh, you're showing it. Oh, yes. I really enjoyed this video that Alberto put up, and my students, what we did was we paired some of the American students with their Mexican colleagues. So their goal was to not only comment about anyone in the class, but specifically to focus on an individual's video. And one of my students, James, was paired with Alberto, and what he picked up on was the idea of marketplaces, because in archaeology we talk about trade and exchange all the time and what a marketplace might look like in the ancient past. And so this tied in very well to what Alberto was talking about, the juxtaposition of traditional and modern Walmart marketplaces. So they were able to have this very long and very interesting dialogue between the two of them that brought in the two disciplines.
Well, I want to stop this now. And as you can see, there's a lot of discussion about that. And and were sharing. They were sharing concepts. They were sharing some authors. They were sharing so much information that my students came up with. Nada mal. Oh, I don't know what happened. Well, that's the idea. So we build commonalities and differences, and that's one of the things that I love to work with Lynda, because in anthropology you just can say, oh, we're like the same. No, we are not quite like the same, but we have to embrace the difference to understand with each other.
So one of the things that we also were talking about was how what his class was focusing on was different from what my class was doing. So we can integrate them, but also there are some big differences. So he's talking about creating. Archaeology talks about destruction. He's talking about storytelling and, perhaps even creating fiction, whereas I'm talking about evidence-based storytelling. He's constructing the present and the future, and we're reconstructing the past. So it was interesting to play back and forth with these things as well.
It's almost the same concept, but for a different point of view, right? So, it's supposed to be like a little bit bigger than that, but I don't know. We call my courses, but when I do, whoa. I like to learn something. That's the thing that I don't know what happened. I don't know what the thing I'm messing it all around. Well, what can I do? I want to learn something. That's the original say. So on my side, when I visit Lynda's campus in Binghamton, I'm something like that. We are connected to, and we didn't know before. I'm to ruin porn. I like to take pictures of the decay of the buildings. I love that. I just love that, and they took me to a tour, to a rides in the Binghamton area, but also in Syracuse, and I really love the time that I have with them. I also have to thank to Jen, to Caitlin, all the wonderful people that I met in Binghamton. So we made a kind of performance lecture, and when I visit her campus, always learning. We are learners. We are teachers, but we love to learn, right? So I show my students videos. I made an installation. We were very busy. This is part of the installation. I want to show just a little bit of Lynda smiling. Something like that. Well, anyway, I better move home. So, when I left Binghamton, I'm very, very thankful of all the great moments that they share and all the things that this is a carpet from a famous bar in Binghamton.
Yeah, we're going there for dinner on Wednesday.
You should. You should try. So then Lynda, on November, went to went to my college, and she also, I tried to retribute, I tried to give him back the great time that I had there. So this is the building of my department of art and architecture and design building. Well, it's from Tatajuan, don't you know Tatajuan? So Lynda went to the museum, see all fortunately for her, this was Dia de Muertos in November the 2nd. In Monterrey, it's not that big, but we'll still try it. We will still try to have day of the day. And also the elote en vaso is corn in a cup with cheese and chili. We didn't went to the lucha libre, to the wrestling, but we like to fool it around with the poster of the lucha libre. Yeah, Lynda said that it's a perfect photo for a media release. But Lynda also had interaction with my class, and we find the gap to let her to teach in an architectural class. That the theme was
the first time I ever taught in an architecture department, and it was great because I was able to talk about my own research.
Yeah, and it comes really great. So Lynda say goodbye to Monterrey, and well, interdisciplinary thinking is beneficial, not necessarily challenging to overcome. It's about our final words and our final meme. It's no matter what field you are, we can call you a class. don't know. We're really good in that. We're already done it. Yeah.
All right.
Thank you.
Good job, you guys. And we got. Ooh, there's a big crowd here. There's a question.
What are you going to do next time?
Oh,
Did you get a question?
no, maybe.
Can you repeat the question?
Now that you've knocked it out of the park, what are you going to do next time?
What are you gonna do next?
What are we doing then? Well, Pancho and I have been, we're having other experiences as well. So Pancho this semester has been coiling with another
With
SUNY
Joe.
professor.
With Joe
And I just submitted a proposal to work with another professor from Mexico in architecture. So that doesn't mean that we won't coil again. It's just we're exploring.
Oh, maybe. As you say, some weeks ago, maybe just a model or a team or something like that. That just connection with, not in a formal coil.
So, Steve Corliss.
I'm not in control of that. Sorry.
Okay, second question.
Yeah.
First of all, thank you for your presentation.
Thank you.
I was just wondering, what, besides the dialogue on Facebook, do students actually produce something together?
Well, we didn't explain that.
She can't hear you.
Lynda students doesn't make videos, but we make some groups, and they start to make dialogue, to get feedback between each other. Lynda students get feedback and of their opinions to my students, and in a way it worked like a.
So basically what we decided was we weren't going to do a full project where at the end that there would be a project that they would be evaluated on. That's one way to coil a class. For us, it didn't seem that it was going to work that way. So instead we evaluated them and assessed them based on the interaction that they had throughout the whole course. So it became this collaborative effort, just discussing things throughout 3 or 4 months.
I want to ask you, how much support did you have from your institutions for this kind of initiative, or it was just more like a teacher to teacher?
No, well, how can I say? We have the grant of Santander, and we have a lot of support, but as always, we have to do the things. We have to push things to work in our institution.
Well, and also at SUNY Broome, there's a very strong effort to get more and more professors involved in COIL. So I don't know if Kathleen is in the audience, I can't see her, but Kathleen and Jan from my institution have been very supportive. Our deans, our vice president have all been very supportive, and they want to internationalize our curriculum. So there is a lot of support. There's been some funding from our college to do even something like the camera that I'm working with was provided by our university. So it's really been very supportive. We're very fortunate.
Next question.
Oh, welcome.
Yep. Did all of your interaction that they were evaluated on, was it all on one single Facebook page?
Yes, and a group, a private group.
Facebook group.
So was it in English and Spanish? Or
Just English. Just
And
English.
did you facilitate the intercultural learning? So how, because you said their students were assessed, I'm just curious how they were facilitated in that kind of learning.
Yeah, it wasn't for you guys online in the Facebook group. You established presences there and you interacted with students?
Yes. Yeah, so there were times when, for example, someone would make a post and maybe no one responded to their motion. And so I would just stand and say, well, what do you think about this? Or I would try to draw out some of the questions or talk about, remember in class when we did this or that. So there was a lot of hand-holding on my part for my students. I don't know if you also did that, but once you drag them into it, then they start to enjoy it.
Can I just follow up and ask, have you worked with more formal learning content management systems like Blackboard or Moodle? And if you have, how did the Facebook experience compare to that? What do you think were the pros and cons?
I've taught online courses, so fully online courses. We used Angel at that time, and I've used Blackboard once. In fact, I find the forums that we have on the formal learning management systems, they don't seem to be as comfortable for my students. On the flip side, though, I did want to say some of my students were a little bit hesitant about joining this group because they were worried that I would be looking into their personal lives. I tried to assure them that wasn't the case, but they felt a little bit awkward. I guess they felt like when I go onto Facebook, it's for me and my friends and family, not to do homework. So that was the downside.
But
I think
the thing is that in the Facebook group, you can add to your friends. So the only information that you are sharing with the public is the only thing that is going to see.
You're not following your students.
Okay, I have to limit to one last question.
I think she's gonna
That's
want
okay.
to
I
ask.
think that's-
Oh, okay,
I was
okay.
just wondering if it
No,
was all
you
on
choose.
Facebook. So.
You're in charge.
Okay, so any burning questions?
I'm coming from museum studies, so this is great. This is really wonderful.
Thank you.
And I'm wondering if you're aware of any other projects similar.
Well, we'll see. We'll see. Well, I found this really good experience for my students, for myself. I have to say that it's a great way to explore and to sniff on theories and let my students to get into the books to make research.
I did have one question. Did it last the whole semester or quarter?
Almost.
So they had time to get to know each other.
Yes, and the thing is that in first in Facebook, in the Lynda students, my students play like all the time in Facebook. They add me as a friend, and we don't care. We are like, yeah, it's a big party every day. But in Facebook, and after that, they went very confident, and because we started the semester earlier, we are already down there. We are already into the Facebook group, and then Lynda students jumped in and they saw that they are like all the time. So this is you have to make an extra effort to be on your private Facebook time to answer questions, but it's my work, and my work is to try to explain things, and also it helps because when Lynda students get one question or some opinion, and I have to clarify it, and Lynda say, that's good. Now you are seeing you like a part of faculty, and they have to respect or something like that.
Okay, I really have to. If you can finish in 15 seconds.
But no, I'm just curious, is there any follow-up on the friending process between students once they leave the course? So are there enduring relationships made, and can we measure the impact of those relationships as they go out over time?
This is a very special question.
Yeah. So I'll have to talk later.
Yeah,
I have a question.
not that much.
So thank you, Alfonso and Lynda, for your
Thank you very much. Thank you for your time. Well, Lynda.
Can I say hi?
Oh, yeah. James wants to say hi.
The rats are over there. Watch out. Line everybody up.
Let me give you my card. You're working in the museum thing. Yeah. We surely have to do something with my IMDR program. No, hombre, creo que sí. Si te la gustó yo, te pueden tener. It's not a personal one, but if you contact me over there, I already know you, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
At the same.
Yeah, and in the second, right?
Yeah. Very nice, very nice.
Hi, yes or no question.
Yes.
Do you guys have homework, other homework outside of COIL, or was it solely on
Well, no, we just trying to share my homework and trying not to give some extra work. No, we're just trying to merge it.
All right.
Thank you.
Alfonso,
Hello.
Georgia Preservation.
Thank you very much.
My question is this.
It's my personal one. I don't have the university class. Let me just. I have to hang out with that. Wait, I come to you later. Thank you. Bye bye. I listen to me. If you can call me over here because I have to log out all this. No problem. I'm the one.
My question is this. As far as the underlying issue for hundreds of years going on like an alternative work program, like it was about the Lynda